Hey guys, so after several weeks of teasing this video, it is finally here in all of its glory. I had it all ready last week for you, and then some of the clips went missing on my computer, of course. So I decided I'm just gonna re-record it because if we had any chance of getting this up before Christmas, just had to do a little do-over. So tonight I'm gonna walk through everything in one final swoop, no editing. We are just going to do the nice raw version of baking these perfect sugar cookies. And what I think is the perfect sugar cookie is one that doesn't spread, one that is nice and soft, and then one that is nice and dense and durable to hold up the icing. So you can see here, this one, it's pretty much just the size of the cutter, which is what we want here. So there are a few factors when you're making a cookie that doesn't spread, and one of which is butter, which I'll go through in a second, but also the mixing and the rolling and the baking components also help create that perfect sugar cookie. So I think a lot of times people, if their cookies spread, they think it's the recipe, and sometimes it is, sometimes the recipe is a little bit off, or even like your climate, if you're in different altitudes, that can also affect how your cookies puff up. I know when I'm back in Iowa, sometimes my cookies do puff up. It's not even high altitude, but even just the different ovens. So there's a bunch of different factors, but I'm gonna go through the ones that you can really control, and it's gonna help you get the best cut out sugar cookies this season. So we're gonna first start with some tips to the butter, then we're going to start to mix, and then go from there in the rolling. So I'll be switching around the camera a little bit here, but what I wanna start with first is the butter. So probably the most important part of cookies that don't spread is using butter that has been softened to room temperature. And I prefer using unsalted butter. That's just across the board what I bake with because I feel like they turn out a little bit better. But the room temperature part really is the main component here. You don't want to try to zap it in the microwave or use alternate methods. I know Google has some that you can soften butter pretty quickly, but if you really want the best chance of cookies that don't spread, just set this out the morning you're gonna bake and let it soften to room temperature. And it's room temperature when it's about the consistency of when you're gonna spread it on toast. You don't want it melted, and you definitely don't want it too hard where it would rip the bread if you were to spread it on toast. So room temperature butter is the number one component. So we're gonna start mixing, and then as we go along, I'll go through some of the steps to rolling and then some baking tips to get you the best chance of the perfect sugar cookie. Before we get started, I will note that if you are new to baking or new to sugar cookies in general, then don't be discouraged if they do spread a little bit. Like I said, there are some other factors that can contribute to spreading. So they're still gonna taste good, but if you do notice some of the spreading, then just keep on practicing and you will probably get there pretty soon to create the perfect cookie that has nice crisp edges. So I'm gonna switch the camera around and we are going to get to mixing. Okay, so in this mixer I have the 1.5 sticks of unsalted softened to room temperature butter, and then I have 3/4 cup of granulated sugar. Now I know some people use powdered sugar in their recipes, and I actually have a popular recipe on my site from about 4 to 5 years ago that does use powdered sugar, but I find that one's a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter in texture, where this one is a little bit more dense and it holds up to the weight of the icing a little bit better. And the one with the powdered sugar, some people do have some a little bit more problems of spreading there, so I like to use granulated sugar, and this is really my favorite recipe at this point. Before I get to mixing, I will state, I forgot to mention in the last video, that if you are in a hurry and you are just gonna make circle cookies or ones that you don't really care if they spread that much, then you can totally zap the butter in the microwave for 10 seconds. But if you are going to do ones that you really don't wanna spread, then you want to soften that one to room temperature. So we're gonna get to mixing, and then we're gonna add the egg and the vanilla next. Okay, so once that's mixed, you're gonna notice that it's nice and creamed together. It's not too fluffy, but the butter and the sugar is incorporated. So that was only about 20 to 30 seconds of mixing that on medium speed. Now the next step we're gonna do is we are going to add the egg, and then we are going to add the extracts. Now I like to use a mixture of vanilla and almond extract. I know some people don't like almond, which is fine. You can totally leave the almond out. But for my recipe, I really do think that the almond makes it taste really good. So we are going to use the vanilla extract, and this is a little teaspoon, so that's why I'm doing so many of them. I grabbed a 1/4 teaspoon instead of a bigger one. So we're gonna do 1.5 teaspoons of that. And then really you can adjust this to your taste. So if you don't really like a lot of almonds, you can cut that back. But I think my recipe says 1/2 teaspoon of that. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cream that together for about 10 to 15 seconds until that is just incorporated. And you might need to scrape down the sides of the bowl with a spatula. Once that is all mixed up, it's going to look kind of like this. Nothing too pretty here yet. But what we're gonna do next is add the salt and then the baking powder. So in here, I just added a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and now I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Now, you wanna make sure you're using baking powder and not baking soda because it is a little bit different. And I'm gonna scoop in 1 teaspoon of that, and I'm gonna give it a quick mix again, and then we're gonna start adding the flour. So one tip with the flour, we are gonna do 2 cups of flour in here, and you really wanna level it off so that you have the perfect amount. I usually do this with a butter knife, but I don't wanna grab one from downstairs, so we're gonna level that off there as best as we can. And I'm gonna just add a little bit first, start to mix it, and then add the rest. So I want to show you midway through this, it's probably going to look a little dry and like it's not going to turn out, but you just want to keep on mixing it on low speed and it's all going to come together. So once it's all mixed and all the flour is added, a lot of times, a lot of it will ball up on the mixer. So you're just going to press it all out of there, and then I'm going to scrape it down and transfer it to a piece of parchment to start rolling. All right, so now what I did is I sprinkle a little bit of flour on a piece of parchment paper, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of flour on top of the ball of dough. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to start kind of rolling it. And this should only take about 20 seconds, I would say tops, because if you roll it any longer than that, you're gonna be softening the butter up a little bit too much, and that could cause it to spread. So we're just gonna do a few different swoops. It's kind of like kneading bread if you're familiar with that, but I'm gonna do it a little bit lighter than that. I'm not gonna be pushing down really with both hands. You could do that, but I find that if you just kind of roll it in a ball like this, and then you come in with both hands and just round it out like that. And then what we're gonna do next is we're going to start patting it down. So I've added a little bit more flour to the top, and then what you're gonna do is just start to pat it down like this. So instead of coming in straight with the rolling pin and smashing it down, you're gonna lightly pat it, and this is gonna help so that there isn't as much breakage as you're coming in with that rolling pin. So you're gonna do it to about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. You can sprinkle a little bit more flour on top if you feel like it needs it. And once you have it patted down like that, I have these handy dandy 1/2 inch sticks that help measure. I also have a really nifty rolling pin that has these built in. And what you'll do next is kind of flour up the rolling pin and then come in here and just lightly roll it against the dough. Now again, you don't want to push down because what that's going to do is create a big divot and then cause some rippling. And we don't want that. So lightly roll it. And then when you get close to that 1/2 inch, and you can do 3/8 to 1/2 inch, but I really do like to make them nice and thick. If you like a crispier cookie, then you can go a little bit thinner, but they'll probably brown a lot faster that way. So once I get closer to that 1/2 inch mark, I can start applying a little bit more pressure for it to spread out nice and smooth. So now that this is rolled out, our next step is going to be cutting. So I'm gonna move these out of the way. And on here, on this plate, I have some flour. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lightly dip the cookie cutter in flour. And you're gonna start on the edge. And again, why you want to do this, because you want to get as many cookies out of this as possible, not just for your own like, oh my gosh, I just did the best job ever, but because you want to get as many on a sheet so that you don't have to roll it out again, because every time you roll it out, you are softening that butter and you're going to get more chance of spreading. So we are going to do as many as we can, and if you want, you can come in and pick these up one by one, but if they're sticking down like this, then you might as well just leave them, cut them all at once, and then come in and lift them up. So I'm just gonna do a couple here to show you the next step. What I like to do is come in with an offset spatula. That's where I'll come in like this, pick them up, and that's where I will transfer them to the pan. So the next step is we are gonna bake these at 350 degrees for about 9 to 10 minutes. Now these are a little bit bigger cookies, so they probably will take closer to that 9-minute mark. For smaller cookies, if you're gonna use a small cookie cutter, it'll probably be more like 7 to 8. But the trick here is you wanna take them out before you start to see any browning. And they might look a little bit underdone after 9 to 10 minutes, but you're gonna take it out and let them cool on the hot pan for about 10 minutes before you come in and take the cookie off, because that will allow them to finish baking and just set up really nice and well there. These just got done baking, and I let them sit on the hot pan for about 10 minutes to, set up. And as you can see here, I flipped this one over so you could see how the bottom is still nice and not brown, which is what we want. And I'll show you the inside of one here. Which one? Let's do this one. They're just nice, soft, dense cookies. And once these continue to cool off, they are gonna hold the frosting really well. So as you can see here on this one, I added some easy cookie icing, and I have this recipe on my site as well. And this is a nice, just simple cookie icing when you just wanna do one color. It's not a full-on royal icing where you're using meringue powder, and a lot of times royal icing is gonna get a little bit crunchier than this. This uses a little bit of corn syrup to give it that sheen, and just uses a few ingredients. So this one's really easy. It's called Easy Cookie Icing if you search that on my site, and I will try to also leave the link below. So be sure to check that out if you want to use that icing. You can also use royal icing, buttercream. You could use canned frosting. If you zap that in the microwave for about 10 to 15 seconds and stir it up, that can also work pretty well for just a simple icing job on sugar cookies. So I hope this tutorial was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions on this, let me know. Otherwise, I'm excited to see your creation. So if you do make these, make sure you tag me at Design It Repeat, and have a great time making your holiday cookies.